Wow, in about 4 months, I have enjoyed it over 1,000 miles on my GT already. Getting to the 1,000 mile much faster than on my Pint. The Pint was my first one wheel. With the speed of 16 miles per hour, the range of 6 miles, it took me a year to get to 1,000 miles. Most of my miles on the Pint were pavement miles. On the GT, most of my miles are on the trails. I enjoy the trails much more nowadays. It gives me some much needed exercise and peace of mind, away from the daily needs of people. I don't do it for the cool tricks or social gathering. Instead, I flow on the trails with the sole focus of staying on my board and not getting hurt finishing the trail. It's a real-time problem solving, mental and physical exercise reacting to every feature on the trail. Never let my guard down because of the next little rocks or sands could throw me off my board. So what do I think of the GT now? I have over 1,000 miles. Should you buy a GT? What about the VESC? The Pint was a solid device. I had 3,700 fun miles on it, worth every penny. The Pint was well designed and packaged. With 6 miles of range, it is perfect beginner sport to get people into riding. The GT design language is the next iteration of the Pint design, well packaged, XR size, 20 to 25 real usable mile range, controller with 50% more power output and new treaded tires. There is a lot to like about the GT. It feels like a board designed to bring more of the Pint and XR rider into the trails, with the new treaded tire, increasing their market size, so to speak. So you buy a GT? That depends on what you want and need. For Pint and XR pavement riders who want to try trails, go get it. For most people who like board sport and one wheel vibe, go get one and enjoy yourself. The GT is good enough for most green mountain bike trails. I would say no on blue or hotter trails. For XR experienced rider, you shouldn't get it. The number one issue I have with the GT is the motor heat dissipation, especially in the hot summer days above 90 degrees riding uphill. The maximum controller output of the GT increased it by 50%, but the heat dissipation did not improve compared to the XR. I rode along with my friend with his XR up the same 3-mile hill with the same tire pressure and same speed. At the top of the hill, the XR temperature was 136 degrees and the GT was 163 degrees. The engineer in me hated the design trade-off they made. This shows the GT was designed for beginner to intermediate downhill trail riders in mind, and 2 to 3 year product life throwaway philosophy of the current electronic trend. Since I ride trails most of the time, I found I wouldn't be able to ride in the 3 hottest months, June, July and August. If I like to ride in the summer, I would have to ride in early morning or on pavement. I just don't want to push the motor to the limit and wait for it to cool down and go again. Kind of sucky. I tried a many ways to improve the motor heat dissipation with marginal success, but I shouldn't have to. The improved motor heat dissipation should have been a must-have in the GT design, given the controller output increase. The way I am pushing the GT, I would be lucky if I get 3,000 miles out of the motor. The second biggest issue of the GT is the firmware lock between controller and the battery BMS. If you unplug the battery from the controller, the GT will not work anymore. Their design choice is a huge mistake in my opinion, because people will not be able to resell their battery or controller if it's broken. Meaning people with a broken GT controller will not be able to sell the battery and forced to pay for shipping back to Future Motion, have them replace the controller at their price. I pray my GT is well built enough to last longer than my original Pint. By the way, where is the custom shaping? It has been 6 months since the release and 1,000 miles later. The Superflex motor seems promising. They seem to know the real problem of the current motor design and put the stator heat dissipation as a high priority in their design trade-off, as it should be, to keep it healthy and long life. Torque tilt is the feature I really want. If implemented right, pairing with the right tire, should be able to ride blue mountain bike trails. I think the future is RAD VESC style. Keep the flow going. If you think I earned it, punch the like button.